Welcome to this series of videos on data engineering using Azure. In the last session, we uploaded data set on diabetes to data stored within Azure. And now we are going to use that data to build a machine learning pipeline in Azure. So we'll go to the designer. If you remember in one of our earlier sessions, we had created a pipeline using an inbuilt dataset from Azure. This time we are going to use the dataset that we have uploaded in our data lake. So go to this pipeline. Name this pipeline as. Now you already can see that under this data tab, our data has come. Okay. Because this Azure Machine Learning Studio has an inbuilt data lake where we have uploaded our data. So we did not have to do any sort of connection. However, if we have to use a different data lake, which is not inbuilt, then we have to do certain sort of connections, which we'll see later on. An easy piece of connection because it is within Azure only, but still you have to connect the two so that the machine learning studio can talk to the data lake. So that we have to use. But as of now, we are using this data set. So we'll see how this can be used. So previously, we had just taken the sample data from here, but now this time we have our own data and we will take the data from here and review the data. See the data set that we have. We can see that apart from outcome, okay, which is a categorical value, which should be a categorical value, that's a target. All others are basically numeric. So we can, instead of using decision tree, we can use a logistic regression here to do this binary classification problem. So we had seen last time when we had gone to the characteristics of the data, preview of the profile of the data, that this data does not have any missing value. So we don't have to treat any missing value. So I'm going to build a very basic pipeline. The objective of this course is not to teach you machine learning models. It's not to teach you the intricacies of building a machine learning model. It is more to do with how you can build a model on a Azure pipeline, Azure cloud, and how you can deploy them. Look, that's the purpose. So that's why I will restrict myself in creating a very basic model which can be easily deployed. So we have the data. So we will, since we don't have to do any, mm, any cleaning of missing data, we'll directly split the data. But before we split, we have to convert to a data set. So we need to convert this to a data set so that the machine learning pipeline can work on it. After this, we are going to not going to do any other pre-processing. We are simply going to split the data into training and testing. So use the node split data. We'll give 70% for training, and it is not a randomized split. It will be a stratified split. And we will do a stratified split on the column outcome. Now here you need to ensure that you type the name correctly because till we run this this pipeline, it is not going to get the output, get the data. So it cannot prompt you on the actual data. So just check what is the answer. Here you see outcome with a capital O. You need to be sure about the capital and small letters as well. Split the data. Outcome is the column. And let's use this time logistic regression rather than the decision tree. So two-class logistic regression. That is a binary classification problem, so you can use a two-class. We can leave these settings as is, but we know that for a proper data scientist, they will tweak around these values, and that's what we call as hyperparameter tuning. We're going to use the train data, train model. We'll use the training data set. Let us set up the label column. Remember that we'll not be able to get the prompt of the actual value. So we have to type it carefully so that we don't make any typographical errors. We are not going for any model explanation as of now. We'll see how model explanations play a very interesting role in model interpretability in one of the later videos. Once we have done the model, then we have to export the model, which is basically testing the model on the test data set. And finally, we have to evaluate the model. Find out how the model has performed. So this is the draft pipeline that we have created. We can save this draft pipeline. Remember that unlike an integrated development environment like a Jupyter notebook or a Colab notebook or a RStudio, here the input and output is not happening in the same place. So while this is your draft model, you have to configure it and submit it as a job on the compute environment to get the output. Okay. And once the job is done, you cannot do anything with the job that remains there. If you have to make any changes to the model, you have to come back into this draft and change it, and then again run a job again. Okay. So we'll close this video here. In the next session, we are going to run this as a job and see the output.